gentlemen, welcome to the Nosebleed Seats. I'm the American Conservative Crime Fighter. We're back at New Midwest Wrestling at the American Center in Springfield. And tonight we have a debuting tag team at New Midwest. Recently departed from NCW, and one member is holding two singles titles at the moment. Christian Rose and Alex Castle, also known as Project Mayhem.
That's right.
Christian Rose, you are the current holder of the IWA-MS Club Championship and the UWC Light Heavyweight title.
Yeah.
You defeated Jay Spade for the club
Jay Spade for the club championship and Vega for the light heavyweight belt.
And how did those matches go?
Spade, good kid, really athletic. You know, I don't have a bad thing to say about him. I thought the match was all right. It was a little short, I think, because the card was really packed. But no, a good kid. You know, the match was solid. The crowd went ballistic on me for cheating him. Vega, that's one of the better matches I think I've had. Vega's awesome. I worked with him a couple times when he was first starting out, and then there was a long period of time where you know, I was hurt for a while, and then he was, you know, elsewhere and everything. And we would always talk about wanting to have a match together. And it'd been a year, maybe even a year and a half since the last time. And we were talking about it, and basically said, you know, he's gotten a lot better. You know, I've gotten a lot better. So we really wanted to have this match, and we finally got it. And everybody that was there said it was really good. I thought it was really solid. I don't have any complaints about it overall. And yeah, it was a good match. It was fun times.
How did you both get into wrestling?
I got in after he did. We both started in NCW. I'm sure we'll get to that. But we both started in NCW and started working out there. And I
think I'd been there for a while. I got started basically. A friend of mine, Blake Reed, called me one day and said, "Did you know there's a wrestling training place in Paris?" And I said, "No, I had no idea," which at the time was only like, I think, 30 or 40 minutes from where I lived. And he said, "Yeah, I'm going up there on the next day or whatever you want to go." And I said, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to," because, you know, like, I've been a fan since I was a kid. I always wanted to, but didn't really know where to go to, you know, get an experience or anything like that. So I went, and that was where I got in. And I think a year or so later, I'd been in for a little while. I got him in, and that was pretty much that, I guess.
How long ago was that?
What's it been? Probably maybe 06 when I got in.
I think it was 06 when he got in. I started in late 05, early 06, like winter time, because I remember it was incredibly cold in the training building. There was no heater and no insulation at all. And then I wrestled through spring and summer, and I think most of the fall. I think you would have got in late 06.
Yeah, mid to late 06, probably something like that. So, and then their school obviously isn't open anymore.
Right.
And
a lot of places aren't open.
Yeah, a lot of them aren't.
So both of us go to IWAP now to work out, and you know, still obviously never stopped training. So you know, Intimidator and
Homicidal Stephen Davis,
Brandon Walker.
Brandon Walker is fantastic.
Where do you all wrestle currently?
Oh man, well, about to make our debut for New Midwest.
GAW,
IWAP. I'm still wrestling for UWC.
USCW.
Oh, that's on hiatus.
Yeah.
I'm going to Infinity Pro over in Indiana, down in Spencer.
And that's just restarting up
that's just
after
restarting
one
up.
show 3 years ago.
One show a couple years ago. I'm on their next show.
What's the Fed in Indiana that we're supposed to work for? It's a big
CWA down in it was by the Vincent's area. I had a match for them about a month ago.
The only one I know of is TriStar Wrestling.
No, it's not that one. It's not TSW. I've heard about them.
You wrestled for Coliseum.
Yeah, I wrestled for Coliseum for a month or two, I think. I was down there a couple of weeks, and at the time it was okay. It was cool. You know, it was an all right experience. It was just not financially feasible for me to keep going because it was a long drive from where I was at, and like basically I told the guy that was running the place, you know, I like working here, but I'm not making enough money to cover the cost of just getting here and getting home. So, you know, I'm sorry, but I just can't swing it with what they were paying me. And he was cool with it, you know, he totally understood. So I told him if they ever needed anybody, you know, by all means call me. And since that time I got into IWAP, and they both run Wednesday nights. And I'm just kind of like, you know, guys, sorry, this place is 30, 40 minutes from my house, and you guys are 2 hours, you know. But,
yeah, Olney is not as far as Evansville.
No.
Obviously. Now, you haven't made your debut yet for IWAP.
I've been, well, we wrestled there as a tag team on their New Year's Eve show. And then I've been on their shows lately. Been watching every week, I think. My name's going to be in those results, and it's not on the results, but I am on the shows.
No, he's about to, you're about to.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to have a match this coming Wednesday, but I've been kind of like managing D.A. Morrison, not managing so much as
bodyguarding.
Yeah, the diesel to his Shawn Michaels.
You're not under one of them apprentice masks.
No, it's actually me. It's just
yeah, it's him.
No.
Oh, you blew. Okay. How'd you form your tag team?
Oh, this is actually kind of interesting.
You were feuding when you
right,
started,
right.
I recall.
We've been, since we both got into wrestling, we've been talking about wanting to feud with each other and have, I don't think we haven't had a singles match against each other.
No, there was one.
Oh yeah, there was one in
Indiana.
But we started the feud kind of in NCW, and I hit him with a chair, and we were going to have this feud, and then there was kind of some stuff going on with the tag teams there, and didn't want to have any tag champs were at a lot of the shows and stuff, and they weren't going to be around, so they did like a fans choose, kind of like a Cyber Sunday type thing.
Yeah.
And
so they voted you two together.
Yeah, right. They picked us to team in, for some reason, a handicap match against Johnny Watts for the titles. And so we won the tag belts then, and it was like, well, we're teaming now, and so we started teaming. Like a couple other places we worked, like NWC, and when it was still but so yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, the music is fired up.
Awesome. Don't even know.
I got this portable mic, so we'll see how good we do with that.
Sweet. But after that, it just kind of all snowballed from there. The feud pretty much then got scrapped. Hasn't really happened anywhere yet. Could still happen feasibly, I guess. We were actually talking about it on the way up here. But
feel free to steal that. Any promoters that want to steal that and have Christian Rose versus Alex Castle.
Be the only ones tagging everywhere else.
Now you started under a different name. You started as Crisscross. Were you a big fan of the child rap band?
No, not at all.
How did you get the name?
Oh man. Long story, I thought that the last name Cross was cool, and then I couldn't pick up the first name, and it just kind of snowballed. So, like, guys in training would always, I should just be Crisscross and blah, blah, blah. So, like, I don't know, it was like my second show, I think, and I'm like, alright, fine. And that was that, and then time went on, and I liked wrestling, and I was, having fun. Just hated that name, couldn't stand it. And then finally, when we started tagging, and, kind of, term, so to speak, saw the opportunity to change the name, and did it. Don't regret it at all. Won't ever go back to the old one.
Now, I guess we should get into this. You left NCW recently over a contract dispute. You were the reigning champions at the time, but you were starting to work IWAP and APWU over NCW events.
Right.
I'll let him tell why this happened.
I'll tell why this happened.
What happened.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. The deal that led to our actual departure. I had worked for NCW. I'd been on every show that they had since I started. So it was going on, 3 and a half some odd years or whatever. So I had never missed a show. And made a lot of sacrifices for that company, actually, which, looking back on, was a mistake. But, I'd given them a lot, and, at that point, they'd all been good to me. Basically, I got an offer on a show the previous show before the incident to work for APWU, and I had always wanted to work for APWU. I'd heard a lot of good things about them, and they have some really solid guys down there, and they offered me more money. So I contacted NCW and said, these guys are making me an offer. Can you guys, I'm going to take it unless you guys can give me a reason to go. And they said, well, we can't pay you more. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to miss the show. And they said, that's fine. So then, a month later, they were going to have shows in Greenup, Illinois, the municipal building. It was a weekend show, Saturday night and Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, they gave us an incorrect time for the Sunday show.
Yeah, they'll do that.
I didn't find out until after the fact, which I think really hurt their draw if they...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's riddled with incompetence. But basically what happened was Saturday show, Sunday show, APW contacted me about working on that Saturday. The only match that had been announced for both of those shows combined was a tag match with myself and Alex against John Hurst and Brian Class.
Yeah.
And so I got the contact about APW. I wanted to go there. I really enjoyed my first experience there. So I contacted NCW and I said, is there any way that we can do that tag match on the Sunday show? Because you guys said it would take place that weekend, you just didn't say what day.
And you also were entered in a tournament.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. It was after he cleared this with them.
I was told that was fine, by the way. And I quote, yes, that's fine. We will do the tag match on Sunday. And I said, and I quote, okay, I will be there.
So
there we go.
So we get there. Well, the night before, I think it was the night before, I look on the message board there, and they had listed, obviously they knew that it was just going to be me there and not him, because they had listed the lineup for the tournament, and I was supposed to be in the tournament. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll get here and be in this tournament. So I get to the show, and they tell me.
Meanwhile, by the way, I'm hundreds of miles away. I'm in Mascouda.
Mascouda.
Yeah.
So I get to the show, and they tell me, well, what we're going to do tonight is we want you to team with. They didn't say it at first. They said we want you to drop the tag belts. And I said, in a handicap match or something, or what? And they said, oh, well, we're going to have you and Cameron Starr team together, and have you drop the belts. And let me stress that nobody who was in that match wanted to do it the way that it happened. We met with the Ice Cold Outlaw, who was booking that show, and expressed our discontent, I guess you should say, our feelings about what was going on, and that the people winning the belts didn't want to win in that way. We didn't want to lose them in that way, and that it was it wasn't right to kind of stab him in the back when he wasn't there. And
I'm also against the practice of defending belts by proxy.
Right,
yeah,
exactly. And that was kind of the whole argument, is that regardless of who we had wrestled in NCW, or what tag teams it had been, we'd had the belts for a long time, and we kind of felt like it kind of meant something, at least. But they meant more when we had them at that point.
In NCW, by the way.
Yeah.
In the big scheme of things, they don't. At no point did they mean anything. But in that company, at that point, they kind of meant something, because we had some okay matches, and some of them weren't so okay. I'll be the first one to admit that. But the crowd responded to us, and we wanted to lose them. We had no problem losing them. We had no problem working with John and Brian. So it wasn't anything selfish like that, like, no, we're not doing this or anything like that. It was just that, we'll do this, can you just please, do it tomorrow?
And we did. I told them that, I said, look, Christian agreed, he'd be here tomorrow, we'll have the match, we'll do whatever you want. If you want us to go out there and get squashed and lose the match, then whatever, we'll do that. But don't do it tonight, it doesn't make sense, it's not right. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to do it. So anyway, he basically said, I got a bone to pick with your partner, and I told him, I said, well, that's fine, but why don't you do that when he's here and not, do this? And so basically, to me, that's just saying, well, we're doing this as a shoot because he's not here and he can't do anything to defend himself. So
they're complaining about loyalty.
Right, and so we went out there, and what happened was I didn't refuse to do the match. We did the match. Cameron got pinned. while I was outside getting dropped on the floor by one of the convoy. And so as soon as the match was over, I picked up the tag belt and walked up onto the entrance room and got one of the trash cans and just threw it in the trash. And you know, they can say that you know, I won't say it wasn't a shoot, but I did do it on the show in front of the crowd. You know, if they'd wanted to, they could have made an angle out of it. They could have done something with it.
Well, somebody wanted to make an angle out of it.
Yeah,
somebody named Tommy Calloway.
Yeah, Tommy Calloway then proceeded to come out and call me. I hate to mention his name and put him over at all, but you know, he came out and called me by my shoot name in front of the crowd, and basically broke kayfabe and said he wanted to do. He respected Kenny Taylor, and it didn't make any sense whatever he did.
And then he wrestled in jean shorts.
And then the next day,
what does that say?
The next day they wanted, apparently, and I didn't go to that show. I wasn't on the show. They wanted apparently me to have a shoot match with Tommy for whatever reason, and I wasn't gonna, you know, like. And I'm sure people say that, you know, I was scared of Tommy Calloway or whatever, but I mean, you can look at the two of us and see, you know, kind of how that would have gone. But I wasn't going to get in a shoot fight on a show that I knew I wasn't going to get paid for. Yeah. And so, you know, and we had a discussion after after I threw the belt in the trash, I got backstage and they were screaming at me about respect and professional,ism and that, you know.
This is after they lied to me.
So they're being hypocrites.
Yeah, and they kept. And it seems to me, and from that, and also from I listened to your podcast and heard Southern Thunder there talk about you know, respect and talk about they keep talking about money and saying that you know, that you shouldn't wrestle for money and money shouldn't be the thing, and I'll give it to them that, you know, there's not many places that we go to and think, you know, when I'm driving to wherever it is, I'm going to make a bunch of money this week.
We're going to be sitting off kilter on the way home from how heavy our wallets are.
You know, nobody's in indie wrestling in this area, you know, unless they're working for maybe ROH that's in it to make a lot lot of money, and it's just,
but you should still try.
Yeah, it's just something where
you can.
If they're going to make money off of us, then we should get, you know, compensated for that. And they weren't doing that. You know, we weren't getting paid, and so you know, we had our complaints about it. So, you know, whatever. And the argument so far, everything I've heard that people have said, anything negative about, you know, what happened is that you're there to do a job and you do what the promoter tells you to do, and I won't disagree that if I'm there and I'm paid to do a job, that I should do that job. And had they paid me to do that job, I might have done it, but they weren't paying me, so it became a matter of, you know, should I do this and kind of stab my friend? It's a matter of they needed you more than you needed them.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's always the preferred position of any wrestler, is the Fed has to need you.
Right. And I'd like to state that, you know, okay, had the roles been reversed, had it been the exact same situation, but I was the guy there and Castle was working for someplace else, I would have done the exact same thing. It was bad business what they did. I respect that he, you know, stood up for himself and for me, for that matter. And like, we've known each other for what?
3-4 years.
No,
we've known each other
for
like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
At least 8 years. So, you know, if he would have just gone down there and just done the match and everything and not said anything or done anything, that would have really upset me. That, you know, just, oh yeah, sure, whatever. But, you know, I would have done the exact same thing. So people can say that it was right or wrong or whatever they want to say. But to me, you know, if you lie to your guys and treat them bad, sooner or later something's going to happen back.
Oh, yeah, it's going to backfire.
Yeah, that's my stance. So we haven't gone back since. Have no desire to go back.
Now,
and we told
now that you're UWC champion, there seems to be a 3-Fed feud brewing.
Yeah. No, there does seem to be. It's between them, Infinity Pro, and NCW. That's their fight, not mine. I'm there to wrestle. That's it. I'm not getting involved in it.
We did write NCW and tell them that I did this. I told them that we wouldn't be back unless we were issued a formal written apology, and I didn't even hear screw off about that. You know, nothing in return. So I don't think that's going to happen. That's fine. You know, since then, if you look at where we were working before, this happened.
Yeah.
We're working now. You know, it's worked out to our benefit. I mean, we're working for GAW and you know, New Midwest here now, doing more with IWAP. You know, it's just we're doing more now than we were then. So if anything, I guess it might have been.
Now, you had a tryout at IWA-MS South.
Yeah.
Tell us about that real quick.
The first one was fun time. The match was solid. Ian was cool with us, cool guy. I went back for the second tryout, had a singles match with Jordan Vandal, and it was terrible. It was I don't know if it was nerves on both of our parts or what, but it was bad.
So you didn't make the cut, or what?
No, didn't make the cut. The first one,
when we went, we thought we were going to do like a tag match. With,
Right.
It was going to be the two of us against GC Vega and Jordan Vandal. And then when we got there, they had some extra guys, and then we ended up having the 6-man. And like watching it now, I'm kind of like I've watched it since then, and I'm kind of embarrassed by it in that, like, if you look at what we did in the time we had, like, we didn't have a lot of time. And the whole the show was basically, they told us, go out there and do whatever's going to get you over with the crowd to get invited back. So you know, there's a couple things in it that I'm not happy with, but it could have gone worse. And Ian was cool with us.
yeah, the first one I thought was all right.
I will say that the one funny thing about that is, if you watch that match, and I gave Jordan Vandal a belly-to-belly overhead suplex on the floor, and as soon as we got to the back, the first response was, "Don't ever do that again, unless you're in like a big feud or something. Don't do that." So I guess we learned our lesson, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of surprised that not a lot more people from Central Illinois took up the opportunity.
Yeah.
NCW 6 representatives went up there. In GW, there was some hair.
Well, it's hard to, like, when you look at it, it's like, you know, why wouldn't you go? I mean, I know some people have like the stance where they weren't gonna, you know, obviously you had to pay, you know, to work on the show.
Yeah.
But and some people are, you know, I'm not gonna pay to be on the show, and that's fine. I understand that, but I mean, the opportunity that you had, you know, look at, like, the reason that GT Vega got, I'll put him over for a second. As much as I don't love him, but as much as you know, he's gotten out of it. I mean, like, he got in touch with Jimmy Jacobs, who got him that the ROH
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, the ROH tryout match.
Dark match, whatever you want to call it.
You know, so he got that out of it. I mean, if that's not worth the $10 and being on, you know, it may not mean something to some people to be on, like, you know, a DVD for somebody for IWA Mid-South or something, but I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
Get your
People
name
put
out
your name
there
out there.
is the big thing, you know, like.
And it's kind of an indicator that you're starting to move up.
Yeah, and I mean, nobody's going to know who you are unless you go out there, you know? Like, I can't think of any single wrestler who stayed in one area and got so big that people just flocked to see them, you know? Like, you got to go out to, you know, to places, you know? Like, this summer we're trying to, you know, branch out and wrestle everywhere that we can.
We're going to go global.
Yes.
The NCW promoter said they were going global, so if they can do it, then I am determined that we can go global. It's the Project Mayhem summer tour.
Yeah. And, you know, between the two of us, we're wrestling every weekend between now and July. You know, and we've got dates in July and beyond, for that matter. So, you know, that's the thing. Some guys want to do it, and some guys don't.
Now, you made your debut at GAW.
Yes.
Kind of unexpectedly, and my colleague, Mystic World Arachnid Vigilance 5706, was a little upset that you interrupted a match between Ian Rotten and Ryan Phoenix. Could you tell us what went on there and what your motivation was for doing
Ian's
that?
having the tag chance, man. We want to win tag belts. We knew Joey Grunge was out and saw an opportunity to take out the other guy, hoping that if he was down and out, maybe we'd get awarded the belts. Maybe we could win it, you know.
And I mean, it kind of worked if you look at it. We got a tag title match out of it, so
yeah, it did.
But
you know?
it's in a tournament.
Well,
you're going to be wrestling the Love Machines in the first round.
The match that we had with Ian and Phoenix, though, was you know, a match for the titles. So we could have won the belts then, and you know, so
should have.
Yeah, we did. What didn't we? We won
technically for about 30 seconds. You know, if you go by, you know, the ring announcer, we were GAW tag champs.
I didn't get to actually hold the belt in my hand, but we were champions.
I tried.
But then they changed to a double disqualification, and then the belts.
Yes.
Of course, there I go again. do not like the belts being defended by proxy.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I don't either, but, you know, as I understand it, Joey Grunge has some health issues and he's going to be out for a while, so, you know,
right.
What do you do?
Although Ian Rotten came back after 2 weeks after gallbladder surgery.
Yes.
And so, some people
did look very good as he swung his fist directly into my face. Yes. He did not appear to be suffering any from gallbladder surgery as he struck me down.
So what is your view of the wrestling scene as it stands in Central Illinois?
It's kind of a mixed bag. There are some... Feel free to interrupt me anytime on this, man. But there are some places, I think, that put on really solid shows, and there are a lot of guys out there that are in the ring that I think are really solid wrestlers, you know, that have potential. But on the other side of the coin, there are some places out there that put on terrible shows, and there are some guys out there that are terrible wrestlers.
I think that's New Jack.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing about it to me that bites is that the guys that are really, really bad don't always know that they're really, really bad. They really think that they're good, and like, we don't think that we're good or anything like that. We think that we're getting better, you know. But
my thought on it is that there's so many places where you can go, and I mean, we've been guilty of it as much as anybody. That oh well, we were on a show. Why should we do anything else? You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people get that attitude of, well, I'm already on shows. Why should I train now? And you know, I'll give credit to some of the guys that were working with us in NCW. Leon Fatal, Whiplash, Austin Advent. You know, they stopped wrestling to go back and train more,
which is good.
You know, and so at the time we kind of had the same outlook of, well, why are you doing that? You're on shows now. Why? Right. But you know, if that's what their trainer wants them to do, then that's fine, and they're going to be better because of it. But you know, like I said, we go to IWAP and train down there, and you know, if you can, I don't know who in their right mind goes, I don't want to train with Brandon Walker. You know, I don't want to go down there and get better.
But yeah, the scene overall, like I said, it's just kind of a mixed bag. You know, there are a lot of positives, and then again, there are a lot of negatives. One of the things that I always harp about now that I actually wasn't that big on, you know, even 2 years ago, is ring gear.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell you how many shows I've gone to, and you see guys wrestling, you know, blue jeans and, you know, swim trunks or stuff like that. And okay, here's my thing. The whole blue jeans thing, because that may get heat from some people. If that's part of your character, then by all means. But if it's not, if it doesn't make any sense, then don't do it. Like, for example, everyone knows the Necro Butcher. Yeah. The Necro Butcher wrestles in, you know, jeans and a tank top.
John Cena. Well, without the tank top.
Right. It wouldn't make sense to see the Necro Butcher wearing spandex tights.
Yeah.
No, not with that character. And that's the bottom line. But having said that, I also don't care for people who come up with a character just so they won't have to buy gear. You know, if you're a carpenter, you're going to buy tools. If you're a plumber, you're going to buy, you know, wrenches or whatever it is that you need. You know, if you want to do this, you got to get stuff to do it with. So, you know, get some gear, guys. That's something.
We are out of time. Where can promoters go to book Alex Castle and Christian Rose?
Alex is usually a business guy, so contact him on MySpace at www.myspace.com/AlexBentonCastle, all one word. He's got a contact about booking us as a tag team. We have individual MySpaces, but you know, you can find mine on his. That's pretty much it.
There it is on the screen. There it is, right there.
Yep.
All right.
Good night.
Christian Rose, thanks for coming in. Alex Castle had to bug out here real quick. But, hopefully it's a good match tonight. We'll hopefully see you around Central Illinois a lot more.
Hope so.
All right, this is Matt Conservative Crime Fire. That's it for this week. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.